Yeah, I appeared to be having trouble being able to upload anything onto YouTube from my computer, so I always have. I've been doing this. This is
A
why I listen
beautiful
to
day
things.
for a neighbor. Won't you be my neighbor? But you know, hey guys, it's Rick. Let's see if I can turn some lights on here. Things aren't cooperating. Does it work? Well, now that that's all out of the way, how you doing? Oh, it takes a little lighting. I don't look as haggard and torn up and hot and sweaty, but let me tell you, man, I think it's like 100 degrees here, Key West. Just absolutely awful. So I'm taking a moment off. All right. Listen, I've got this is a shout out. You know, you may just want to go ahead and turn this off. You know, if you don't want to learn something about us queers, okay? You know, I can't seem to be able to tell people enough, even people that are other folks that are gay, you know, whether they believe in the Bible or become atheist or, you know, feel, a side that they don't fit into all this group or, you know, just to hell with it all. It doesn't take away the sting from the outside world who has God's given authority to treat you guys, or treat us, treat me, treat other people, treat people that are different than the way these guys, I mean, if it's written down, you know, these guys should be killed, you know, deaths, stuff like that. And, you know, I'm telling you, I teach the inside of these dark sayings that really show that they're not so dark whatsoever. But if you choose, if that's the route that you choose, you know, you don't need, it doesn't, you know, you have to be taught how to hate. And, you know, I didn't even know what homosexuals were, you know, I really didn't. And then, you know, now that I am one, I don't necessarily fit in all that great because I don't know all those icons and stuff like that, you know. I don't necessarily fit in neither. But, you know, I've been into it up to my neck, you know. I claim that I've had pussy up to here and dick out the yin yang, you know. But I know, probably just lost a bunch of people, but that's a part of my stand-up humor, you know, being that I'm a stand-up queer, that's what I say. But what I'm trying to do is take the heat off of things, you know. So, you know, if you're hateful and you want to be, you know, if you think if something I've said is offending you, you know, then you need to turn this thing off. I don't give a damn, you know. But if you want to educate, you know, us queers, we didn't just show up. We don't make up our own minds to be this. And I couldn't tell you why I'm this way. I know that the soul inside of me and the side of you and inside of a lot of people is eternal. I mean, it's been a lot of things, and it's been a lot of things. We've still got a lot more things to go. And this is where I am today. This is what I'm supposed to experience. This is what I am. This is it. I decided who I was some time ago and came to some kind of grips with it. All right? I also come to a city and a town that embraces these people in such a way that they don't necessarily shun them and put them in some, or cast any kind of a mean light to them, a derelict. But anyways, this is a God-sanctioned hatred towards a group of people who become a scapegoat for society's problems. You know, they've already come out of, you know, tossing everything onto some kind of a goat, you know, sending it off into the wild blue yonder, you know, and then Saturnalia, things that happened before all of this, in Roman times, they would pick someone out of the group, you know, and they just thought it was great. Gave him the best of time, and then they killed him afterwards. And everybody's sins were put on this guy. And they could be free. So you could see the importance of a scapegoat, you know. But the problem is that, you know, this problem, the persons that they should have been going after is the lower mind, because that's basically what, when you're a sodomite, if you're committing sodomy, It's the church. It's that first church that it's really about phallic worship, okay? And that's really about just worshiping the lower side of you. If all of your attention is towards the sexual side, your sexual nature, then you're just dwelling on the lower side of things. And it doesn't matter if it's a pussy or a penis, okay? It's your attentions are directed downwards. You are looking down. You are feeding from the lower. It's just another way of saying, hey, we need to cut off what is lower, the desires, and they do. They cut around the penis and circumcise it. Doesn't take away the desire, but it's a physical way of trying to fulfill what the Bible has asked them to do. But, if you take it off the scripture, off the top, it's going to hurt someone. It's going to draw some blood. So to cut off the lower desires for a little baby, of so many months old or weeks or whatever, is to go through some gut-wrenching pain of had their penis cut. All right? That's just the way it is. And if you're a female, you just tap them on the ass and move on. They don't give a damn about the girl. They don't give a shit about it. But anyways, there's this, I was researching it, and I couldn't find a whole lot of things that actually said homosexual in the Bible. Then they have all these things they say, this does this, but there's one. One of the top ones is one that's called Leviticus, and I wrote it down. Leviticus, it's chapter 20 and the 13th verse. Okay, and it's talking about if a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Okay? Now, this is not a watered down, this is the King James Version. Other ones, when you have a change from the King James Version to make it easier to read, they wipe out words that are important. And if a man lie with a man, I would understand that. I'd say, hey, that's queer. All right, that might be queer because it's really about it's a mind. The mind in our books here is man, our mind. That's man. That's our lower nature or higher, whichever it is. But in this case, it's lower. And what he's doing is he's mixing with another male conscious, okay? And that's what mankind is. That's the outside. So if your mind is mixing with the outside, there's your homo. There's your biblical homo. Your mind should be seeking the spiritual side, getting its fruit from the right side of the boat, not outside. It doesn't say anything about going outside, except outside is wrong. This is the homo, okay? And anyone can be this, all right? And, that means everybody that's religious are the biblical homos, the ones that are causing all the trouble, hating the real fags out there like me, who, by the way, are talked about in the Bible. Have you ever heard of this before? Huh? Any queers out there of my group here? Do you realize we don't just show up out of nowhere? We go back in history, way back in history. In the Roman times, they called us, we were like the girly men, What caused it? They called us eunuchs. That was the fag of the day, man, They didn't procreate. They just didn't want to. They just didn't want to, all right? Just like males. Some men just did not want to deal with another man. So they didn't have to do that. But here's the scripture for that. Let's see anybody preach on this, all right? It's Matthew 19:12, and this whole chapter in there is dealing with sex. How about sex and this and that? And and it's kind of ambiguous as to think that they don't really believe that you should be gay married. The idea of when you say that if you want to argue this idea that a biblical marriage is between a male and a female, well, I'm going to tell you that there is no real sex in this Bible. And when they talk about male and female, they're talking about the left and right sides of your brain. That's all there is. That's it. There is no physical knowing. There is none of that. So there's no cock-sucking going on here. It's used as a reference as someone is feeding from the lower. All right? I know they based a lot of rules off of this, and and they've hated people for years, and people kill themselves over this. But this is the cost of reading the Bible at face value, and they don't care because they have their scapegoat. Do you understand? It falls in with their narratives. They got someone to hate, and now they're pushing us up on a pedestal. And I said, well, I think they're really more like making targets out of us, But anyways, Matthew 19:12, it says, for there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb, some made by men, and those who made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. Okay? Now, what that means is that there's someone that, this is about people that don't create children. All right, they can't physically do it. This is it. There's the eunuchs, the guys that come out of their mother's womb, like me, just pop right out. Damn, but I could have children if I wanted. That's why I'm not on Facebook. No. But we have to pretend we are something for so long. We really have to. If you don't let what's inside you out, you will. He said you'll just, something terrible happens to you. So you have to internalize something that's really you. And then at the same time, you wonder, what is so wrong with me that the world doesn't love me, And so you work harder, you try to do things better, you try to shine the light more, and you just really just fall to the shore because, you're just one of them, That does terrible things to the soul, all right? And if I can, I'm trying to tell you to get away from that. Don't believe a thing of it, right? The hell is created in your mind. Smoking gun is the Bible, but once you start believing in it and believing it, don't believe in it. All right. So let's see here. To explain these things. Oh, the natural eunuch is when it comes out of his mother's womb, just walked right out. It doesn't say anything terrible about those guys. All right. There's already a name for people that are homos and laying with themselves, laying with guys, But, the other ones are the people that were cut. Those are your, people that were turned into slaves and they had to do it, they're sitting around with a bunch of women and stuff like that. And then, of course, your clergy that, claim celibacy, They hold it on to themselves. But, whenever they talk about celibacy in the Bible, it doesn't mean about that. It means about holding on to that juice, holding on to that creative, that life force, that juice in you, that your jism, the chrism. That's what they want you to hold on, because that's what it takes to get where you got to go. All right? And this is all it's about. This whole thing is about connecting to the Lord, and it takes mom and dad, and it takes you, the child, to do it. All right? But if your dad is just going outside of the female side of you, going out, found another male conscious, because it's something that is birthed from the male side that makes it a child of hell. It makes it a male conscious. There's your homosexual. Right there. There's your homosexual. There's a whole lot of homosexuals out there. And they say we only represent like 1 or 2%, to be giving us all this hell. All right. This part, it says the two are committing, because, first off, you're doing it wrong. You're going at it wrong. The law is about connecting these together. Israel. Connect the male to the female, or the female to the male, and you'll get this power. That's the formula. If you can't do that, then you're just a homosexual. All right? And that being one of the lowest things is because you're not connected to the Lord, or you're not even caring to do it. You are dead. You're the isle with those dried up old bones. Need a little breath to bring you back alive. That's Israel. All those dead bones, it's dead people and things like that. So you say, man in itself, and on itself, the word man is the mind. Okay? Anything male and man-oriented, the men of the town, the armies and stuff like that, this is all left brain lower conscious stuff, okay? That's the way it goes. You're subject to your desires, and there's no emotion in it at all. Okay, she has nothing happening, all right? It says here, surely they shall die. Now, you should have heard this a bunch of times, that idea, surely they shall die. Because what happens is, this is just like when God tells Adam and Eve that surely if you eat from this tree, you shall die. All right? The same thing, same, you can just pull this over here and put that. If you eat from this tree, if you bite from this tree of knowledge, you're going to die. But we know the way the story works out is they don't die. The serpent says, you're not going to die. Eat anyways. You're just going to be like him. They don't want you to be like him. So that's how it goes. And it says, and the blood is on our hand. It said, because we're gay, our blood is on our hands. Because we are disconnected. Because we are dead. Dead means without spirit. Do you know that blood on your head? Blood means spirit. Blood is spirit, all right? Like wine is spirit. Blood is spirit, So there's a lot of things that mean spirit, Fire means spirit. But so your own spirit is on your own hands because you chose to go this route. There's your chosen one, I didn't choose to be queer. It just happened, You can't blame it on my grandfather or, being touched wrong or something like that, I'm probably one of those guys that says, somebody touched me, nobody did, I wasn't told on nobody, But that's how my jokes go, all right? Because I mostly make fun of myself with these things. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. I don't know. Well, let me tell you, if you're going to be a comedian, you have to know pain. Think about that, all right? But you can either, represent this pain or you can just rebel with all your mind, come out on the other side. And so, when it comes down to it, this Lord and God and our Maker, if you want to call this here, has absolutely nothing, no care, no qualms whatsoever about what you put in your mouth, all right? He's just worried about what you're putting out of it, taking out of your mouth. There's where you defile yourself, all right? So I just wanted to say that. I wish that I had a giant gay clientele that I could just teach this to. Show them the truth. Because when it happens, it opens your minds. For me, I stopped feeling guilty, for who I was. What a wonderful burden to take off of myself, And now when someone says something to me, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It took the angst away. It took the hatred. It took all that away, And I wish that, if someone out there is kind of upset because I use the word queer and fag and this and that, and you feel terrible about it, I want you to think about this Buddhist saying that, you need to learn how to clean out the inside of you, like I'm still working on and have done with myself, so that these things don't hurt you. You understand? I'm the last person you're going to be following around trying to make me politically correct. All these little micro insults that I throw out there, I don't mean them. But if you're that sensitive, if this is a victim community, my God, we certainly are slipping into some lower times. Indeed. But anyways, you should clean yourself out and not worry. In other words, nothing should upset you. Set yourself on those rocks on a foundation of stone. That's what I teach. Right? That's what Jesus teaches. We have some hellfire times coming up. You can just see the whole world is in an uproar. But they're programming it. They're fanning the fuels. They're fanning the flames. Giving it the fuel. Come on. Disconnect from all of this. Don't kill yourself. Separate. Anyways, I love you. I do. Best to you.